All right, we finally started. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission. Today is May 10th, 2022. It is 6:53. We're located at City Hall, Council Chambers at 101 South Main Street, Texas. Individuals may attend the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting in person, access meeting via video conference or telephone conference call. We'll get started. Call to order and announce that we do have a quorum present, which we do. Thanks, Jerry here. We'll move on to B. So this is a citizens forum. A planning and zoning commission invites citizens to speak on any topic. However, unless the item is specifically noted on the agenda, the planning and zoning commission is required under the Texas Open Meeting Act to limit its response to responding with a statement of specific factual information reciting the city's existing policy or directing the person making the inquiry to visit the city staff about the issue. No commission deliberation is permitted. Each person will have 3 minutes to speak. We do have a public hearing tonight, so if you're wanting to speak, I guess, about the land over there off the stadium, we'll have a chance during our public hearing. Is there anybody else that want to speak tonight on a different issue? We'll move on. And it is 6:54. We'll open up our public hearing on a request for a zoning change regarding approximately 60.19 acre of land in the McKinney and Williams survey abstract number 636, County of Johnson, Texas, located at 1280 Stadium Drive, to change from A agricultural district to the R1 single family residential district to allow for the construction of a residential subdivision.
The vacant property has ever been platted and was originally zoned as the agricultural district. This property is zoned the agricultural district. The proposed development of this property is to allow for the property to be subdivided for the construction of a residential subdivision containing a minimum of 10,000 square feet lots and follow all of the R1 single family residential district regulations. This development will be required to submit engineered construction plans. It will also be required to preliminary plat and final plat. City has agreed that these matters may be part of the construction and the plating review process. The proposed request complies with the future land use plan, and staff recommends approval.
Okay. Thank you. Are the owners present tonight? You care to make a statement or association? Okay. Yeah, care to take anything?
Just been sitting on the land for a while, and a lot of development going around there. I'm sure you can home. We're going to get it.
Okay. And then we do have a couple of speakers tonight. Clint Olson.
Really just here to answer any questions you might have.
Okay.
I'm an engineer working on the project.
You mind saying your name and address to the record?
All right, that's Clint Halsey. My office address is 300 Thomas Lane, Lillian, Texas, 76061. Mailing address would be PO Box 477. I really just want to make myself available if you have any questions. Our intent is to follow the R1 rules and regulations. We have a preliminary plat. It's ready to get submitted. That's not for review. Doing this right now so we can get that submitted. We're going to jump into phases. We're going to, our intent is to use Johnson County sub for water and sewer, and they have conducted a hydraulic analysis. The water and sewer is available to us off-site, and they've asked for funds to help improve their system to bring it up to standard. So I'm just here for you guys to answer questions.
You said they did ask for funds?
On the water, yes, sir. They're asking for participation.
Sure they are. You said you're gonna do it in phases. Do you have any idea roughly how many phases you're looking to do?
Right now, we're looking at 2, possibly 3 phases. The first phase would be around 40 lots. We have a petroleum pipeline that's bisecting our property. We want to take everything that's north of the pipeline in our first phase. And we have the ability to run an additional smaller second phase by gravity. And we're going to take our first phase by gravity to Apple Court. We've been in conversations with the church there across the property, and they are amicable. Don't have the easement in hand, but we showed them what we wanted, and they're amicable to do that. And the water time for phase one would be up the stadium drive. And later, when the next phases come online, we would need to put in a lift station. And then it's been discussed to go and hit an existing lift station that's west of Apple Court there. It's also been discussed as a possibility to go to the east and hit an existing system that's being developed with Garden Meadows. That's all. Jefferson Meadows. That's yet to be determined if that can happen.
How long do you propose these phases to take? I know that's a-
That might be a question for Robert.
Well, that seems fine.
Yeah. As soon as we get approved by the city, we're ready to break ground on phase one.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I'm sure it's less of steel and lumber and all that's needed. I mean,
Yeah.
we only go so fast, so.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Jennifer Hancock. We'll take your name and address for the record, please.
Jennifer Hancock, I'm at 604 Apple Street. So I do have a list of concerns and I have some questions, so it's nice to have somebody here that may be able to answer them. Some of the questions that I had you answered during your speech here, but is Apple, the cul-de-sac, is that going to like, no, it's not gonna be a cul-de-sac anymore? Is it
No.
gonna break into?
There will still be a cul-de-sac, still be there. Our sewer would be routed south of the parking lot of the church there. And we would come into, there's an existing manhole at the beginning of the bulb of Apple Court there on the west side of Apple Court. So we intend to hit that with a gravity line right there. And anything we tear up by putting in that, we would put it back, and when we're done, we'll know it's in there.
Maybe you could leave an improvement because that little area floods quite often when the ducks floating in the field as if it were a pond. I love it, and that's why I chose that neighborhood. When we looked for our house, we looked at many different houses 8 years ago, 7 years ago. We love the city of Joshua. We love the environment down there. We love to look out and see the pasture. And I know everybody's gonna say it's growth. I get growth. I do. I completely get it. I understand that cities need it. We have the McDonald's coming in, we have Starbucks, we have fast food, we have housing coming in everywhere. But now, I'm just like, I'm gonna look out and behind the church, I'm gonna see houses. I'm not gonna see the wildlife. We have wild turkeys out there. There's coyotes that run out there. And I know people frown upon the coyotes sometimes, but it's a good ecosystem out there that is going to be, it's going to be ruined with houses. And I realize I probably don't have a whole lot of say because the city is already wanting to approve it. And the way you guys talked before the meeting even started, it sounds like it's all ready to go.
Well, let me kind of give you a little bit of kind of background how this works. Tonight is strictly a zoning request. Okay, so this is just the first step of several before something takes place. We're not able to deny a zoning request if it meets all the criteria. That's just the law how it's set up. Okay, so depending on exactly if they've met all the criteria and all that, the next step where you'll really want to be involved will be when they get into the pipe. Okay, so that's when they're going to have to present their case in regards to, fencing and, land use, and because those requirements, there's requirements that they'll have to meet in regards to that they have to dedicate a certain amount of land and such. And so some of these can be factored into, an area and such. So you can kind of, help visualize, but there's steps that they have to be able to do. That's where we ask for public input, absolutely, to be involved with whenever we get to that point and stuff. Again, to try to find solutions, where everybody's, needs are met and such. So just kind of keep that in mind. If this passes tonight on zoning request, kind of how the steps start to kick in. And Aaron and Alice will absolutely, going to keep clued in as to whenever they turn something in, and so you can come and look and review and help, game plan and determine what you want to come and present, when you're talking to the planning and zoning, and then it goes to city council after that.
Can I ask how many of my neighbors responded?
Not including yours. Well, including North Shore, it's 5, and it looks like, 2 are opposed, 1 was in favor, and 1 was neutral. And then yours was opposed, so 3 opposed, 1 in favor, 1.
That's amazing.
Well, that's something to keep in mind that, as you talk to your friends and neighbors, like, come on, guys.
Well, I have, and they
Yeah.
told me, I was volunteering to gather them and I'll bring them in. I brought my neighbors. I was up here last week, so I brought her. So I told them I would bring it and I don't know, commitment there. Nobody wants to really be involved in a big mess of it. So the other thing though, and this is a concern, I don't know that anything's gonna happen, that traffic down Stadium is already a nightmare with the kids walking from the Creek campus over to the high school with nothing but one little lady that with a stop sign, and you might have her for 30 minutes a day. Have any of you guys driven down Plum or during drop off and pick up?
Yeah.
Or any time of the day, flash changes over there? I'm concerned with more traffic of it down there. I know it's the school district's issue, but the city's gonna add more people down that road. That now the district is gonna have to handle as well, so I think it involves more people. And that was just another concern that I had there. And that's about it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, appreciate you coming out.
Any rebuttal to anything you say?
No, I'd like to show her, our ideas we're gonna want to put in a linear park. And that follows also with the city's, master plan. I didn't mention, but, that diagonal pipeline going through there, it's on the master plan for that to be a linear park. We want to dedicate that as parkland for the city and pull an extension of that up north to Stadium Drive. So it'd be like a land that would be available to the city for linear park. That would be accessible. I think it'd probably be easy to make that accessible from the church property. If the church wouldn't mind walking across that cul-de-sac, be on a linear park building on Stadium Drive. That'd kind of be up to the church, but it'd be a nice access point for that park.
And what you're calling a linear park, it's a trail, right?
Linear trail, linear park, but it's on the city's master plan.
Right.
As a green line, we intend to honor that line and the pipeline even is there. We really can't do anything with it. If it could be landscaped with a nice winding sidewalk and some trees, that just make a nice benefit for the community.
Have you a pond for ducks?
Well, we have detention ponds. We do have, but those, right now, they're planned to drag the drain dry.
Yeah, of course.
But that would be an improvement to the community, and it follows the master plan now.
Thank you. So like I said, all this will be, like Jerry said, this is just for the zoning request, so anything of that, this is gonna be something I'll present to the plat, which, we discussed further. I know there'll be lots of things that'll come up while this planning process.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I appreciate y'all, just if you get their card and stuff, and then, they can show you those plans and show you.
Have you have any
A
questions?
little bit more
Let
detail
me show
about,
you what we're doing.
since you can be kind of the point person for the community there. That's fine.
Be happy to answer any questions you have.
Well, then, nothing else, we'll close the public hearing at 7:06, and we'll move on to, number 2, which is to discuss, consider, and possible action on the request for the rezone regarding the approximate 60.19 acres of land in the McKinney and Williams survey at tract number 636, County of Johnson, Texas, located at 1280 Stadium Drive, change from A agricultural district to the R1 single family residential district to allow for the construction of a residential district. We'll bring it back up here. Did any commissioners have any questions or comments regarding this zoning request?
No, I personally, I understand why you're selling it. I reckon, it's probably a pretty sweet deal. I always wish that the city would do more to keep agriculture and land in our city and incentivize that instead of the other way. But at the same time, I get, it's the way it is right now, so.
Question real quick on the easement notes, number 4, it said they were unable to accurately define the location. Is that been resolved?
Of what?
It says easement to south, Western Gas Pipeline recorded in volume 3614, page 11. Surveyor is unable to accurately define the location of the easement as described.
So what's going on with that? There's 3 existing pipelines that cut that diagonal. 2 easements, we have documentation that capture that line. The 3rd south line, we have yet to find hard copy documentation of that easement. We've asked the tile company to go back and look at it. We've asked the surveyor to go back and look at it. And as far as we can tell, it may not exist, but the line is in the ground. We have actually located that line. We know the physical
That was my
location.
next question.
And then it's going to be a matter of how far the pipeline company is going to want us to offset from there. So that southern boundary is the petroleum pipeline people are going to have final say on where we'll come off the center line of that existing line, is what I'm expecting. And we'll pull off like 20 feet or something, 25 feet.
Whatever their requirement is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's out there somewhere, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. And we have located the line physically, horizontally, and vertically. So that's what we got all the problem for. We have a good idea. We've got down that one's at.
No further discussion, then I'll entertain a motion.
Make the motion to approve the zoning request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Unanimous 4-0.
If you don't need us for anything more, we're gonna look at
Thank you.
Don't wait long enough. Thank you.
Yes,
it.
thank you for your time.
I'll move on to number 3, which is to discuss, consider, and possible action on approving a replat regarding 3.79 acre of land known as lots
May
3R and 5R, the Briar Oaks Estate, J.H. Cooper Survey Abstract number 145, County Johnson, Texas, located at 604 and 607 Briarwood Trail for the subdivision of property.
Thank you, guys.
And construction of a residential home. Thank you. Aaron?
The property was originally platted as 2 separate lots, but the property owner of 604 Briarwood Trail has a pond that they would like to keep on their property. This property is zoned R1, single family residential district. The proposed development of this property is to allow for the property to be subdivided for the construction of a residential home. Water is provided by Johnson County Special Utility District. A letter of final approval has been submitted. Right-of-way dedications have already been dedicated. This plat appears to meet the minimum requirements for a replat as set forth in the City of Joshua subdivision ordinance. Therefore, we recommend approval.
There are one, right?
Correct.
Would it not need to be an R1L?
It's R1L now.
No, it's R1.
Yeah.
R1,
They're just taking 2 lots, put it into 1. right?
Yeah, but those.
Yeah,
Like
it's
lot
R1.
5R, looks like it's being still sectioned off a little bit. They're
Right.
just bringing the pond section over at 3.
to 604, yeah.
Any other questions or discussion? No, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
A second. I got a second. All those in favor? Unanimous 4-0. Anything else? Staff? That's enough. We will adjourn at 7:11. Thank you all.